saying before you know it, you're in it, deep in it.
Don't worry about that. But thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Pops, you dance with the devil don't change. Devil changes you.
What is up, everybody? Little scene from a movie called 8 Millimeter. Movie gave me chills. All right. So throughout this live stream, we're going to be referring to the what we're going to call it S film. I have a feeling that we're going to have to be very, very careful with the words we use in today's live stream. And with that being said, it's going to be a lot of hard things to stomach in today's live stream. I do want to welcome everybody back to the Sleuth Intuition channel. I am your host, Patrick Vallejos. You can call me Sleuth. Today we will be diving into the Delphi case of Abby and Libby there in Delphi. And this will go to the motive, right? What motivated this? We want the motive and the cause to match the devastation of the crime. So it's hard to just accept Richard Allen as a lone wolf, right? You want this Odinism thing, and then you want the Keegan Kline, Anthony Schatz angle, the tentacles and all of that stuff. But I feel like there might be some more truth to that. Maybe the monster does match the crime. You know, you got to ask yourself, this situation has been so special for the entire world. I mean, the world stopped and took notice of what happened in that small town in Delphi for a reason. Something unknown, but something that packed a huge punch as far as negative energy. Like, I mean, it was like a nuclear bomb went off and the blast circled the entire globe. But something has to motivate something like this, right? Can it be as simple as a lone wolf? Or are we looking at something much worse? If we're to believe that Keegan Kline had anything to do with this, we know that he created the Anthony Schatz account July of 2016. Pretty sure about that. But he also was planning a trip to Vegas right around the same time he created the account. So was there a customer potentially in Las Vegas saying, hey, if anybody's willing to provide this, we are willing to pay top dollar? And maybe they did go down there to the crime scene, set up a tripod, and then have Richard Allen force the girls into that direction. Maybe that was even part of the crime. And that's why we're going to look a lot today at the Rex Heuermann case, the Gilgo Beach murders. And we're going to look at his affidavit, his online search history, some of the things that he was getting into. We're also going to be looking at a gentleman by the name of Nikolai Howard Mork. This person was actually living in Vegas, and at the peak of his, I guess, incident was shortly after the Delphi murders. And we know that Keegan Kline and his father were in Vegas meeting with people, using burner phones, looking up Sandy Hook images of the victims and a lot of sick shit, right? So if you're looking to make an S film, maybe Keegan Kline is your guy. Keegan Kline, Richard Allen. Maybe these are the folks to get it done, right? We're also going to be looking at James Burke. He is the disgraced Gilgo Beach police chief, former, who we're going to hear from another high-ranking official, basically stating that James propositioned him for an S film. We're going to look at a few cases of confirmed, where people were actually in the process of making an S film. So I think, along with how horrendous the crime was, what was going on with one of the main suspects, right, Keegan Kline, what he was doing in Vegas. He was using burner phones, specifically just the 3 days that he was in Vegas, attempting to meet people. He says it was for drugs, but who meets for drugs on Craigslist? His father had a friend, Jan Kendall, who passed away, former police officer, Indiana cop. So it would make perfect sense if Jan was like, hey, if you guys want to make some money, like this guy is offering, 100 grand to see it, an S film. Maybe that's what they did. Ivy Nature Lover, thank you so much for sponsoring today's live stream. Metal Mama as well. Gifting somebody with the membership. Perfect timing, too, because we are going live for a members meeting at 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Kara, good to see you. Daily Survivor. Peace Train, what's up? Frank, what's going on? She Warrior, good to see you. 63. Patricia Warner, Jesse Stoss, hello. Deanna sent out. Yes, I did see that news. Very scary. Shadowbox, what's up? Yeah, very interesting. CJK, welcome. Who am I missing? Phil, what up? Sparky, welcome in. Welcome in, Jim. Christine and Julia. Wanda V, what's up? Sees through. Purdue. Good to see you, Purdue. Miranda, Candace, hello. Julianne. Amelia. Susie. Robin B. Sensei, good to see you. Leslie. Brad, what's up? Diddums. Humanimal. Says, did he have Anthony Schott's account from 2016? Who? Keegan Kline? He created it in July. So what if that's what they were doing? What if that's when they began planning it? Why Delphi? Why the Monon High Bridge? That part was Richard Allen's idea. The S film stuff was probably Keegan Kline. If this theory is correct, right? This is just a theory that we're going to go through. Red Queen, what's up? Grunge says, I would think they'd link Keegan and Richard together online, but apparently they didn't find anything. Finding something and something existing, I think, are two different things. But you're right. Until they find something, it's just speculation. Well, today is going to be a whole lot of just that. Right? We can use all the facts that we want, but we just don't know what they were doing in Vegas, why they were looking up the Delphi case, why they were so concerned with it, why they were using burner phones to meet people off of Craigslist. Very strange. And then the second they come back from Vegas, I mean, the very moment, almost as if the moment they walked in the door, they have the FBI and the Indiana SWAT team kicking in their door. Not for CSAM. but for the Delphi case specifically. Not like, hey, we're here for this and we want to ask you about this other case over here in Delphi. No, we're here because of the Delphi case. So you can't lose sight of that. And if he didn't have anything to do with Delphi, there's no way, there's not a chance in hell they're letting him just walk free. Oh, we forgot to schedule a court date. So he went free until, what was it, August or April of 2019? There's just no way. What they did was they tied a little string to his leg and they let the little bumblebee fly. Go ahead. And that's why the FBI was so involved in the case at that time, because you need the FBI to get over those state lines. Jurisdiction. Ritual, posing, placing of sticks could have been a fantasy played out. Yeah, we could still be dealing with a ritual within this theory, right? Whoever the customer is. A lot of people don't believe they exist, but why wouldn't they exist? I mean, you have people who are killed on film. Pretty sure that's what happened with Rex Heuermann. We heard Shannon Gilbert's 911 call. She doesn't want to go outside. It's almost as if somebody's out there waiting for her, right? To chase her through that tall grass. You got somebody with the video camera right behind him. And this creepy guy with a mask chasing this person, just like the movie 8mm. And people going around saying that S films aren't real, it's just a myth, is just going to make somebody want to make it even more. These creeps, they want to push the limit, adrenaline. That's what it's all about for them. That drug. Natural drug. Welcome in, Ellen. 63. The thought that this actually occurs is beyond horrifying. What a sick world we live in. Yeah, maybe we should start with let's start with this article. And everything I'm going to share with you guys today, remember, could be triggering. I mean, everything I have here for you today, a few times I was like, whoa. All right, let me pop this up here for you guys. Let me go to a super chat real quick first by Sensei. Hooking it up. I appreciate you.
We do not train to be merciful. We do not train to be mercy is for the weak. Mercy is for the weak. Here on the street. Here in competition. In competition.
Thank you, Sensei. Says, I can imagine Richard Allen possibly took pics, but in my opinion, it was too risky to make an S movie in daylight and location. Also, girls weren't originally going there. I think they were going there. I think there's a lot we don't know about that. The timing, Richard Allen showing up at 1:30, the girls leaving at 1:30. I mean, the killers could have been setting up, parked at the cemetery, parked at Wilson Bridge even, walked down to the crime scene and set up the tripod. And because they finally successfully were able to convince these two young girls. Everything was working out perfect for them. Today is the day. We only have a few days to get this done. We leave for Vegas on the 19th or the 20th. Remember, there was the ski mask thing on the 19th, as if they were going to try to get more. Let's get another one before we go. We'll sell two. Or tying up loose ends, right? So this is titled S Film Investigation Leads to Arrest of Two Virginia Men, and it's by Robert F. Ho, August 22nd, 1989 at 1 a.m. 2 Virginia men who frequently use computer bulletin board networks to advertise their sexual preference have been arrested and charged with conspiracy to kidnap an unknown male child whom authorities said they plan to molest and then kill for a pornographic S film. Daniel T. Depew, 28, of Alexandria, and Dean Ashley Lambay, 34, of Richmond, were arrested August 14th after a 6-month FBI investigation that involved more than 100 agents in San Francisco, Richmond, and Washington, and the Washington area. U.S. Attorney Henry E. Hudson said at a news conference yesterday in Alexandria, Hudson said the 2 men had not targeted a particular child for kidnapping and that no children in Northern Virginia were directly endangered. Yeah, I doubt that. Hudson and others said that in light of this case and the slaying last month of a 10-year-old Fairfax County girl, parents should exercise caution concerning their children's whereabouts. There are, as this case illustrates, people out there who choose to prey on children, Hudson said. The investigation of Depew and Lambay began in February when an undercover California police officer tapped into a computer bulletin board system designed to assist people seeking contact with others interested in diverse sexual pursuits. According to an affidavit by a Richmond FBI agent that was unsealed yesterday morning by U.S. Magistrate David G. Lowe in that city, Lambay, a real estate agent, responded to a computer message placed by the officer that sought individuals who had an interest in children, according to the affidavit. Over the course of a number of messages through the computer network, Lambay said that he liked boys between the ages of 8 and 13. So it's always that age range, too. Like between 8 and 14, 8 and 13. That he was interested in making a sexually explicit movie with children, the document says. Of course, by now, you probably think that I'm a real nutcase, but what the hey? At least I'm honest, right? Lambay wrote in one message according to the affidavit. According to the court papers, despite the possible adverse consequences involved in making CSAM, kidnapping a child and possibly killing him, Lambay told the officer in a late telephone conversation that, I think the pleasure of doing it would be worth it. Do you see that? I think the pleasure of doing it will be worth it. So why would Richard Allen care? He has a lifetime to relive this. I wonder if he's thinking the same thing. Lambay suggested that a child could either be abducted or purchased as part of a conspiracy, the affidavit says. He told the undercover investigator that he knew someone in Florida, right, who would sell him a child for $12 to $5, of which would be refunded if the child was returned, according to the papers. Once the film was completed, the alleged conspirators planned to wash the child's body with acid in order to destroy any evidence, then dispose of it in a marshy area of Maryland, Hudson said. In a meeting with undercover agents at the Dulles Marriott last month, Depew said his main interest is in doing the S film. I want to strangle the kid. I want to hang the kid, the court papers said. According to the affidavit, Depew, who lives in the 500 block of Seminary Road, works as a clerk at Engineering Research Associates in Vienna and stored detailed descriptions of his sadomasochistic acts under the heading of vital info. Jeez. On an office computer. Lambay's Richmond home in the 4600 block of Brookridge Road, where the film reportedly was to be made, was seized by federal authorities as part of the conspiracy. The 2 men were being held without bail. Right? Why else are you out in the middle of the day doing this to 2 young victims? Why are you risking it? Is it because you think it would be worth it, even if you got caught? Now, how do you stop somebody like that? Let's go here. Thank you, 63 Clocks, hooking somebody up with a membership. Looks like we got a 1-month flex from Miranda. Says yay. And that super chat from Sensei. All right, let's catch up here, guys. See what you're talking about. Humanimal. Did they make a longer video? Oh, the one from Inquisitor. That was interesting. KK told that Kelly woman that people pay a lot of money for pics of dead kids. Right. Exactly. There was talk about... No, there wasn't talk, but when he was interviewed, he was looking up the Sandy Hook bodies of the victims. I never heard of anything like that. Right? That kind of goes hand in hand. That's some real morbid stuff right there. V. Marie says, I got to say that thumbnail is creepy. Your thumbnails have been wild. Yeah, I kind of made the eyes kind of funky. They're not blue. It's like a grayish green. Jesse says, I theorized in the past that KK sold Richard Allen the device he was using for catfishing. Liberty German and procuring nudes from underage girls. KK initiated conversation. Richard Allen took over at some point. I thought that at one point, but I think it's worse. I think these guys were planning this for some time. Richard Allen had a funeral and a wedding to pay for. What's going on with you, Phil? I was wondering about Richard's computer. I don't know. I think he had plenty of time to get rid of it. And maybe he was just recruited. Maybe he wasn't even like an online predator. Maybe these guys were just like, hey, man, we go back. We go way back. I know what you're capable of. I know you need the money. You live in Delphi. What's up, Debbie? Brad, what's up? Come to think about it, there was a lot of talk about shutting down a whole network. Why else would they let Keegan Kline go? It wasn't an error. If he had nothing to do with the Delphi case, he goes to jail right then and there. They don't let him go for 3 years, guys. Think about that. What's up, Rob Adams? Did you see that on Kokomo, Indiana, on where they arrested a man, they got him for murder of a gal that was out of Kokomo, Indiana? I don't think so. You can shoot me an email if you want, sleuthintuition@gmail.com. What's up, Todd? Welcome in. What's up, Kentucky Sleuth Angel? Good to see you, Jill. What's up, Otto? Let's go to 63 Clocks. Yeah, that Vegas trip was bad news, in my opinion. Up to no good. I think we're going to spend the majority of the live stream on that. So I'm still kind of setting the tone right now. Because S films are just, that's something that's really hard to wrap your mind around. So I wanted to give you guys some examples. And this next one I'm going to show you is actually a person in power, right? He's involved in probably multiple serial killers. James Burke is a really bad dude. And he might have something to do with what happened there at Gilgo Beach, if you ask me. Kara says, no, it's just the bridge. Yeah, the bridge is very, it catches your eye, but also the audio and then the guy on the bridge. But it's something more. It's like all of that, and then why not a suspect? Like none of it makes any sense. Good to see you, Angela. I think Keegan would have ratted out Richard Allen if he could have. That's just my opinion. He doesn't seem like he would keep his mouth shut. Yeah, but honestly, Angela, you don't know anything about Keegan Kline. I don't know anything about Keegan Kline. We always assume that we know anything about these people when the closest people to them probably don't even know anything about them. Why would you or I? So you can't assume those things. Got to keep it all on the table. Purdue says a recent interview with a person talking with Kagan in jail before arrest of Richard Allen said Kagan brought up Russians pay big money for S films. Yeah, and we know that Kagan was talking with a Russian person. And this person, Nikolai Howard Mork, may have a Russian connection. But this dude, we'll get into him in just a minute. Don't want to get too far ahead. Farmer coming through with the super chat. Let's see what Farmer's talking about. So is it possible law enforcement leaked that interview with KK on purpose? Just turned in if you already covered. Well, yeah. Law enforcement basically did what Richard Allen's defense team did. They allowed this thing to be public just long enough for certain people to grab it. And there was a handful of folks who were able to get it. Thankfully, I was one of those folks who was privileged to that. Murder sheet, of course. They rode that like a surfboard. The claim to fame, I guess, right? A lot of information there, though. That's for damn sure. What's going on, Tech Death? Good to see you. Let's go to Diddums. It really stood out to me that the police said that the crime scene was something you would film. Also, something about tripod marks on the ground. Anyone else remember that too? I do remember that. In the Ron Logan affidavit, they definitely, their profile insinuated, right, that it was somebody who would want to document the crime. Either that or that's just something that happens with these types of crimes and these perpetrators. What's up? Chopper says coincidence everywhere in this case. Kara says Richard Allen's the quietest dude I've ever met. The best secret keeper. So you know him personally. Now you have my attention. More of the KK and Russian. Never heard this. Yep. We know that we had some folks were able to hack into his accounts, and there was a conversation on his Facebook Messenger between a Russian woman. I have that conversation. I think I put it on one of my live streams one time. We'll look at it another time. Anything I like. Good to see you. Welcome in. Tech Death says Murder Sheet's been extra quiet. That means they're working on something. Whenever people are quiet, they're doing something big. Wanda says the fact that Richard Allen developed the pics and gave them to the family, saying no charge at this time, he looks 99% guilty. But how long of a person can one be? How low of a person can one be? Well, I mean, think about it. Keegan Kline is pretty low. Seems like he was kind of born into this kind of weird atmosphere, right? Broken home, named after a strip club. Apparently, when he was 14, he was sexually abused at the behest of his father. Like, that's disgusting. It's crazy. That's how it happens. So imagine if Keegan Kline was to go and have a family. What would his son be like? 10 times worse. Otto says, is KK being protected in prison and can be offed at any time by the network of pervs? Yeah, and let's look how high this network can go. Let's watch. This one's titled Disgraced Gilgo Beach Police Chief Asked Where He Could Get an S film.
I can tell you about 1994, 1995. I was on Jericho Turnpike in Centeridge. It was either a car accident or a bank robbery, but the road was closed for whatever reason. And that's the border of two precincts. I was in the 6th precinct in plainclothes. He was a uniformed sergeant in the 4th precinct. And whatever incident occurred was right on the precinct border. And he came up to me and goes, Trotta, I heard about you. You're a heavy hitter. You lead the county in arrests. You're a go-getter. I want you to work for me one day. And then we still some small talk, and he looked at me and he goes, you know where I can get a snuff film? And I literally said, I don't know, what's a snuff film? I had no idea what it was. And unfortunately for me, he gave me a graphic description of what a snuff film is, to the point where I won't even repeat what he said. But a snuff film is involving, I'll say, is having sex with a woman and then murdering her as you're having sex. And I just said, no, Sarge, I don't, because he was a sergeant at the time. And the reason he was transferred, he was in a 1st precinct, but he was transferred out of, he was in the 4th precinct. He was transferred out of the 1st precinct because he was caught having sex with prostitutes in his police car on duty in uniform.
And remember, guys, this is the guy that was in charge of the entire Gilgo Beach serial killer case, right? And he's part of it. There's some prostitutes that say he was there. He was with all these folks. He was planning it. He was hiding evidence. So, I mean, conspiracies are a real thing. And there's a strange connection between these cases, right? All these cases that kind of stand out to us for a reason, because they're all pretty much connected in some weird way online with their activity and with young children and their obsession with death and morbidity, really. So for those of you who don't really know who James Burke is, that's him right there. So this is him at the press conference. And he kicked the FBI out. He kept the FBI from getting involved. And the second they had somebody new step in, they made the arrest. Crazy, right? Now, this crazy son of a bitch. It's titled MIT Grad Faces Terrorism Charges in Las Vegas. Wait till you get a load of this guy's Facebook. Crazy shit. Nikolai Mork. An MIT business school graduate has been indicted in Las Vegas on terrorism and unlawful acts related to weapons of mass destruction. Prosecutors said Wednesday, along with the terrorism and mass destruction charges, 40-year-old Nikolai Howard Mork faces 3 counts of possession of component of explosive or incendiary device with intent to manufacture explosive or incendiary device, and 1 count each of possession of explosive or incendiary device. Possession of a firearm with altered or obliterated serial number. Jeez. And possession of a silencer. Yeah, guys, see, this is the shit I'm talking about. You want to talk about a customer or a client requesting an S film? This is him. His mother reached out to her home in Duluth, Minnesota. I've been to Duluth. Told a Las Vegas Review-Journal reporter that she started noticing signs of paranoia in her son about 2 years ago when he visited his parents after a lengthy absence. My God, Joan Mork said when she learned of his indictment. She was unsure whether her son's prescribed medication for depression and anxiety had been the cause of his troubles. He's not a man we recognize, she said. He worried that people involved in Scientology had followed him into restaurants and recorded his conversations, she said. So she asked about his medicine. Don't ever speak of my medications, he told her. That was a very difficult visit, she said. He was anxious. He was pacing all the time. Sometimes he sat down and put his arms around us, and those are moments that meant a lot. Our hearts are crushed. Police first tracked Mork in late December after linking him to at least 8 Molotov cocktails found near seemingly random homes in the Southeast Valley neighborhood where he lived, according to prosecutor Jake Villani. Inside his apartment, detectives found ingredients strong enough to penetrate a military tank, Villani said. While investigating how Mork may have obtained the chemicals, detectives also found 17 hard drives on a desktop computer with 63 terabytes of data. In the first folder of the first drive detectives opened, Mork kept underskirt photos of women he apparently taken with a hidden camera inside a rolling bag. The prosecutor said, police also discovered violent CSAM S films and images of Mork sleeping with seemingly unconscious women, Villani said. Investigators also found a video of Mork violently beating a woman inside an apartment, and eventually learned that the same woman had been found unconscious in the lobby of his complex. Mork is not currently facing charges related to the material found on his computer. They're still trying to image that drive, Villani said. This was just a triage approach to that drive. He knows what he's doing, an extreme danger to the community. His crimes are running the gambit at this point, and we're just trying to get a hold of what exactly we're looking at here. Mork previously posted $220,000 bail. Damn. His mother said she sent him $36,000 cash. See, this fool has access to a lot of money. After he called her from the Clark County Detention Center, District Judge Douglas Herndon raised Mork's bail to $8 million and issued a warrant for his arrest. On Wednesday evening, Las Vegas police announced that they had arrested Mork at his home without incident. Sergeant Jeff Clark said several nearby residents were evacuated during the arrest as a precaution. An arrest report described the chemicals and ingredients found in Mork's home along with an assault-style rifle, including potassium chlorate, potassium perchlorate, ammonium nitrate, ammonium perchlorate, red iron oxide, aluminum powder, nitric acid, sulfuric acid, and magnesium ribbon. Combinations of some of the chemicals located can lead to both incendiary and explosive results, the report stated. Residential utilization of concentrated nitric acid is rare and extremely dangerous. Mork appeared to realize the dangerous potential of his substance as it was clearly isolated and stored away from all the other organic and inorganic material. Combinations could cause substantial damage to Mork's residence and the houses around him, the report stated. I think I have a video following up on this.
This man's house. Tonight, Nikolai Mork is facing terrorism charges, accused of planning to blow up various sites around Las Vegas.
Tonight, 13 Action News is digging deeper into the MIT grad's background. His mother talking only to our crews.
13 Action News anchor Christopher King is live near Maryland Parkway and Silverado Ranch with the latest on what's happening there. Christopher.
Trisha, Steve, take a look at this home behind me. Police have been out here more
Nice
than 5
house.
hours. They say the man who lives here had enough dangerous chemicals that could be used to make bombs. Now, as mom tells us, her son may have been dealing with mental health issues.
May have?
I just can't say enough about what a fine young man he was.
Joan Mork paints a different picture than the one illustrated by law enforcement. The DA's office says Nikolai Mork had bomb-making materials inside his home. They say he was plotting to blow up various sites, including this Envy Energy transformer.
We experienced our son as a large-hearted, brilliant, tender person.
According to an indictment, Mork had large amounts of thermite,
Ignorance is
ammonium
bliss.
nitrate, and other dangerous chemicals. The DA says Mork, an MIT grad, intended to use them to make bombs. His mom, speaking to us on the phone from Minnesota, struggles to make sense of it all.
I believe that he had at some turning point that we don't really understand.
Joan Mork tells us her son has been wrestling with mental health issues. She believes his problems may have begun when he started taking a drug for ADHD.
We thought it started perhaps when he was given a medication called Adderall.
Very scary.
Police SWAT team surrounded Nikolai Mork's home. Ricky Smith lives around the corner. Smith, a mom of 3, could see the commotion from her backyard.
It's unsettling having to explain to the kids, you can't go outside, there's stuff going on.
Yeah, imagine him targeting those kids. Let's go to Farmer here with the 21-month flex. Thank you, Farmer. Sleuth, I feel you are still indicating it's a possible conspiracy. I think it could be. I think it could be a conspiracy. I mean, why? What is motivating Richard Allen to do what he did? One, the thrill of it, right? On the top of that, he gets to help his family. So it's not in vain. I'm assuming he was offered money. Is that what the whole Marathon gas station was all about? When you're done, I'll meet you here. Give me the cameras. Shout out to Peace Train for the super sticker. Thank you guys for sponsoring today's live stream. Okay, so real quick, I think I have one more video on this creep here, Nikolai Howard Mork. Show you just how violent this guy is. Graphic content, viewer discretion is advised.
And police say found with bombs inside his home made an appearance in court. And now prosecutors are introducing some new video that they say shows he's a risk to the community. But we want to warn you, this video may be considered graphic. The video shows Nikolai Mork in a fight with a woman inside his home. You can see him shove her down to the ground, stomp on her, and grab her by the face, where he appears to be covering her mouth and keeping her from breathing. Mork has pleaded not guilty to charges of terrorism and having weapons of mass destruction.
Oh. So what if we got Keegan Kline meeting up with this creep in Vegas? Someone similar. Let's take a look at his Facebook real quick. So in the affidavit, they found evidence of voyeurism. Check this out. Some of the creepiest shit I've ever seen. So right before all this happened, his Facebook. I think I have it bookmarked. Yeah, there it is. So he has 3 friends. So a lot of weird shit, normal kind of photos. But right up until about right here. So he's testing his camera on the pool. Like where to put it. He can leave his camera there and come back and get it and see all the girls and the women that went into the pool. So he's practicing on himself. The voyeurism stuff. Isn't that weird? And here's another shot. Looks like a Guitar Center or something. See how it's from down low? And you can kind of see the bag right here on the side. Or whatever the hell that is. See, he's practicing. And he's so out of his mind, he's posting it on his Facebook. And notice the date, May 13th, 2016. Creepy, creepy. One creepy son of a bitch. Thank you, Richard. Damn, you guys are lucking out today. You may be a member of the Sleuth crew. Thanks to Richard. Thank you, guys. And whoever donated to my Cash App the other day, thank you so much. You guys rock. Hello, it's me. Ever heard of Destruction of Daisy? I watched a documentary in 2015. Peter Scully sold videos of himself torturing and sexually abusing young girls on his dark website. No Limits Fun. No, but I think with what we know about Kegan Kline, he could definitely have access to the dark web. Don't you guys think that? The things that we know about Kegan Kline may only be a small amount of what he was actually into, right? Him and Richard Allen kind of remind me of these pathetic types that in their mind, there's all this grandiose delusions going on, right? And they're a lot smarter than we give them credit for. Only because they're so afraid to say anything in the real world. Maybe the trauma that they faced as children. I'm not quite sure how it begins, but take care, Shadow. Hope it's a good appointment. Good to see you. Hiawatha. Hi, I'll check it out. It's called titled Hello, It's Me. Good to see you, Heather Marie. This'll do nicely. Clever. Welcome in. Cindy says I'm speechless. Peace out. Shithead KK might be smarter than we think. At least one computer. Yeah, definitely. We don't know what this dude's into. Okay, let's take a look at Rex Heuermann's internet search history. So once again, warning. Graphic content, viewer discretion advised. Now, I can't read these out loud. But we're going to look at his search history and we're going to compare it to Kegan Kline's search history. So we got Mistress, Long Island. And James Burke was basically the lead and the head of the entire investigation for the Long Island serial killer. So they're chasing a serial killer, and this guy's hiding evidence and keeping the FBI out. And while he's doing all of that, he's trying to get his hands on an S film. It's like all this shit is connected. All these crazy cases that are standing out, they're standing out for a reason, because they might be motivated by very similar things. Violent sexual acts being caught on camera and sold on the dark web. So if you read some of these, a lot of R words: begging, bruised face, redhead, torture, 10-year-old, skinny redhead, short fat girl tied up, R, Asian twink. I think that might be transsexual. I'm not sure. Tied slave, hog-tied, 10-year-old, chubby, black girl, girl beat up, chubby, 13, 12. Look at this. Girl, young, depressed. What the fuck? Janitors. Look at this word. Keegan Kline liked to use this word. And then also he looked up, why could law enforcement not trace the calls made by the Long Island serial killer? So he's looking up his own shit. Why hasn't the Long Island serial killer been caught? Long Island serial killer phone call, Long Island serial killer update, Long Island serial killer update 2022, FBI active serial killers. Very similar. In Long Island serial killer investigation, new phone technology may be key to breaking the case. That's what he's looking up. Crazy. Okay, now let's jump into Keegan Kline's possible involvement. Let me see if I can find his search history right off the bat. And this is the Samsung Galaxy, titled Samsung Galaxy. This is from his interview transcript after he was finally arrested. So they say, okay, we'll jump to another page again. This is the iPhone 3. iPhone name is Keggy. Last utilized in 2015. It did have a passcode on it. It had your email addresses and account information on it. Just the web history. That was again searched for the life of the device. Beautiful young teens. Cute young teen on webcam. High school, and there's that word, right? Young. Really young. The V word. Teen. Drugs. Underage. Bunch of nasty shit, just like Rex Heuermann. No different. Now, this is the burner phone here. Let's jump to the Samsung Galaxy S5, which was the one that you found in Vegas, right? He says, yeah. In that rental car. Yeah, rental car. And just in that little bit of time you had the phone, which was 2 days, I think, you had that phone because it was a burner phone. Somewhere like that. A couple days, however long. A couple of days, web history that was recovered of there. Didn't even use that phone. And then right here, he talks about trying to meet somebody in Vegas with that phone. Says, why'd you blow him off in Vegas? Because I couldn't get the weed or nothing. I could not get anything he wanted. And I looked for it out there. And I'm sure you looked at my phone when I met that guy, right? See, so he's kind of interviewing law enforcement right here about something. Like, what do you guys know about this? And it's like law enforcement didn't even pick up on it, or they're not trying to jump on it, right? They're not trying to react to it. So he's like, when I met that guy, right? You guys know about that. He says, I'm sure you know about me meeting some guy in Vegas, right? So he's using a burner phone to meet some guy in Vegas. And right now it seems like he's probing law enforcement what they know about that. And in response, they say, I think the more thing that I'm concerned about over a guy that you're meeting. So they're acting as if they're not interested in that. When it could be the whole enchilada, could be everything. Kagan says, I'm saying, like, I met the guy to talk about weed. Like, he's telling him, like, you guys don't know about this? You don't know about the guy that I met? So I think it's possible that could go to the entire motive of the entire crime. Okay, let's see what else I got. Okay, also here. And that's why you searched, can you trace IP addresses from social media? That's why you listened to the audio clip. That's why you did search server information to see how much information gets stored on servers. Because you were thinking about it, especially on vacation. You're supposed to have fun. You're supposed to be in Vegas having fun. And you're looking up the Delphi murders. Like, I can understand being like, oh, wow, that happened in Indiana, not far from where I live. But obsessing over it? All right, let's continue on to the following page. Searching about servers and stuff, that would have to do something with my work. Bullshit. So right after, I'm talking minutes that you are searching. So the very moment he gets to Vegas, right? He's searching Delphi. He searches, police continue to pursue leads in Delphi girl's murder. Girls missing after posting Snapchat messages. Girls missing after posting Snapchat messages, an article that you searched. Can you trace IP from social media? So it's not like he's just searching about the case. He's searching how they can find the killer. Can they trace his IP address? For the normal person, they're not looking at that. For somebody going into true crime saying this case is insane, look at this. There's audio and video. They're not going to add in there, well, can they trace the IP address? They're not thinking about that. Not right now. Not at that moment. Says, were you thinking about the Delphi investigation? He says, I probably was. Constantly. He says, a few minutes later, where you start searching about internet servers. So randomly, you're reading all these articles. Obviously, like, well, I talked to her friend and stuff, so they obviously could see that I talked to her friend on Snapchat. That's probably why I searched that. Because I probably like, I talked to that person's friend. This is all bullshit. This motherfucker is involved in this shit. Gotta be. Now, you're not going to talk, because if you talk, you're talking against yourself. You're snitching on yourself. And what kind of a heartless son of a bitch is going to blame it on his father? Oh, it was my dad. It was my dad. He says, right, not in Vegas. Yeah. When you're searching nonstop about the Delphi investigation, when you're supposed to be on vacation, when you're still actually sending Snapchats to Liberty when you know she's dead, right? That's like the whole alibi thing. Remember when they changed the dates on his Facebook about living in Vegas during the time of the murders, when he really didn't move there until I think later on that year. He says, I don't ever remember doing that. Then they ask him, let me ask you, why would you, after you failed, remember, he failed the polygraph. That's big. You failed the polygraph about knowing about the Delphi investigation. You come home after failing the polygraph because these guys were not ready to get raided. They literally came back from Las Vegas and had their door kicked in. And right after that, he comes home. He deletes his Snapchat and his Instagram, which he used to communicate with Libby, and also searched, how long does DNA last? Just like Rex Heuermann, the same kind of weird shit. Right? Why would you care about the DNA? Did you work hard to get it off or out of the crime scene? And here's the arrest affidavit. So this is the burner phone, Samsung Galaxy S5. This iPhone was named Klein Photography. So the burner phone that he has in Vegas after a double homicide that he seems to be connected to, he titles the burner phone Klein Photography. Oh, you're a professional now. What are you taking photos of, buddy? And was factory reset on approximately February 23rd, 2017. Kagan would have been 22 years old at this time. This device was not secured with a password or PIN code. There were numerous usernames and email addresses located on the phone, including, that was redacted. There were some chat messages recovered from this device from MeetMe, Facebook Messenger, and Snapchat. Conversations that took place between February 23rd and February 25th discussed meeting people in Las Vegas and prostitution. So he's using a burner phone titled Klein Photography, trying to meet people in Las Vegas while looking up the Delphi murders. Ski mask incident happened the day before they left. Their home is raided the very day they get back from Las Vegas. All right, guys. So you be the judge. That's all my time for today. I appreciate everybody for catching the live stream. And, Truffles, thank you for the super sticker. Shout out to Miranda, 1 month members flex. Sensei, thank you. Farmer with the 21 month flex. Peace Train coming through with the super sticker. Richard hooking it up. Always supporting my channel. I appreciate you, Richard. Amelia, thank you so much. And Truffles. All right, you guys rock. I'll see you guys again real soon. Thank you for watching the Sleuth Intuition channel. If you are part of the replay crew, you know what to do. Drop a comment and let me know what you think. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the bell icon to stay in the loop. Sleuth Intuition is 100% crowdfunded. If you want to support me and help my channel grow, here are 3 ways that you can help. Number 1, Cash App. The funds go directly to me without YouTube taking a percentage. Number 2, become a member. Members are by far the leading contributors to my channel. Number 3, hit up the merch shop. Represent the Sleuth crew on these ruthless streets. I want to thank everybody for tuning in to the Sleuth Intuition channel. I'm your host, Patrick Vallejos. Until next time, peace.